So for design and interior styling, I gave it an A minus. For interior, I like the interior. I like the changes in texture with the leather, the stitching, then the wood trim, and then the leather pad on top or leather trim on top. I like that. I do not like the steering wheel, the M Sport steering wheel. I think it's basic, and then whatever this material is, I forget the name, but it just looks like hard foam to me. But apparently this is, like an industry standard, I guess, as far as setting a hallmark for steering wheel composition. Another thing, as far as comfort goes, you see the panel where the pink tile is. On my Lexus, that actually has the ability to actually be pulled out, so you can actually, not pulled out in the sense of it comes completely off the door, but it just tilts out, so you can actually get to whatever it is that you have in there. The way it is right now, if I were to try and put my hand in there, I have to be fishing stuff out. So I just think that they missed the mark on that. And then the glove compartment. With the size of this glove compartment, as you see, it's not very much space in there. So there's some, like this big mold right here, the mold in the back, the form, I think, hey, this is a daily driver car, so I think they should have been space oriented and just threw a little bit more of the components in there, if you will, that just kind of help you stuff. I already spoke about the console. And then as far as like the front seating, where your knees would actually go, for instance, for me, where my knees go, I lean up against the door and this wall right here as I'm driving. I actually think that should be like a pad, like a soft leather cushioned area on both of those spots. Just for those long drives. Again, if you're driving 4 or 5 hours, I'm not tall. I'm right at 6 feet tall. But so my legs actually, when I'm driving the car, my legs rest on that wall right there. And, it would just be much more comfortable, if it was soft, if it was a padding or a padded area. And then I think they should have had more area for, like, right here, I think they could have put a sunshade storage spot, something to that effect. And then functionality was another area B. I just pretty much covered all that stuff. But one more thing that I wanted to talk about on functionality is the dual climate control. It's dual climate control for, you see me, I just cut it off. That's my side, my control panel. And that's my problem right there for the passenger. There have been times where I've been in this car and I've actually been hot, my wife has been cold, and vice versa. I've been cold and my wife has been hot. If I'm driving, or whoever's in the driver's side, for the AC to actually operate, the driver's side has to be on. So the passenger cannot cut, the AC on in a dual climate control situation. Yes, you can change the temperature, but I think you should be able to cut, hey, if you only want air on your side of the car, you should just be able to cut your AC on, and then the AC blows on your side and leave the driver alone for it to truly be dual climate. But that's not how it works. I can cut the passenger side off and the driver, side will just get air without an issue, but I can't do it the other way. I can't cut the driver side off and then cut the passenger side on. It's not going to do it. So to me, that's something where I think they should have thought that part, maybe not thought that part through. I probably think that's more of a cultural issue that, is typically associated with German automakers. As far as, well, why would you do that? They're typically only oriented towards the driver. Everybody else in the car, can just suck it up. And, hey, if you agree with that, then that's fine. But I say functionality, B minus. Then comfort, I talked a lot of that stuff. I gave it a B. The seats they're not soft, but it's a sportier version of their 5 Series, but at the same time, I got the luxury seating package, and the seats are not soft. But I get to some extent, when you build something that you want to call sporty, you can't have Cadillac seats in it because you want your seats to be able to support you in those tight situations when you're driving. But the seats are hard. They're hard and firm. They're not soft at all. There's no plushness to these seats. If you're familiar with the Lexus and or any one of the Asian car makers, when you get into their bigger cars, their upper end cars, so you're talking over 50 grand, I mean, you probably got a half an inch of cushion, and you could press your hand in the seat and just feel like it's gonna get lost. You don't get any of that. This is like you're sitting on firm styrofoam here, man. So just keep that in mind. You know, and it looks cool, but you know, when you're talking, you've been driving for 3 or 4 hours. You know, it'll send you into the world of you being numb, and then that little luxury seating massage thing is useless in my opinion. And then the last 2 issues I'll talk about, if you want to know fully intact, you can watch my BMW military sales video. But the last 2 issues really affected my overall rating for this car, and that's one, at the 20th day that we had this car. We picked this car up on April 30th, and by 18 May this car was in the shop for 3 days. It had a huge fail. It gave the error, cannot engage drivetrain properly, seek or see your dealer for maintenance support. They sent a road assistance guy, came out. He couldn't figure out what the problem was. Then they finally came and towed the car. It took about 3 days, and each day we got a different diagnosis, from make sure you're putting Supreme in the car. The second day was like the GPS was an issue, and then the third day was something to the effect of it was a turbo breathing sensor issue. But we were never comfortable with it. But it is the issue hasn't showed its ugly face again. So hopefully whatever it was, you know, it won't come back. And then the second issue, at 2,500 miles, we had to put oil in the car, 2 quarts of oil. So we had to drive up to the dealer. That's about an hour and a half away from here. Wait an hour for the engine to cool down, and then for those guys to add 2 quarts of oil. They said this was a fairly common issue with the engine. BMW knows this because of the size of the engine and the 2 turbos. It burns oil. I've never had a car with 2 turbos, but I've had Audis with single turbos and a Lexus's, and I never remember adding oil at any point outside of doing normal oil changes. Never added oil. That's not to say that, you know, they may have not needed oil, just didn't tell me, you know, the sensors didn't pop up or whatever. But I just find that ridiculous that a 2014 BMW 550i xDrive, I had to add oil in it at 2,500 miles, you know, at the life of the car. So me making the assumption based off of what they've told me or what I've been told, this is going to be a fairly common issue. So now I'm buying oil. I have oil sitting in the trunk of the car, so just in case, you know, the oil light comes on, you know, we can just add the oil ourselves. We don't have to go an hour and a half to the BMW dealership for them to do it. And oh, by the way, if we're on a road trip, you know, you don't want to be running your engine on low oil. So I think that's a fail if that's true on BMW's behalf. And I think that they should actually, if they know that that's an issue, then they should actually give us, you know, 3 to 4 oil changes a year instead of the 1 service oil change. Because, you know, if I have to go 2,500 miles and put 2 quarts of oil in there, by the time I get to 15,000 miles, I've already did an oil change, minus changing the filter, just by virtue of me adding extra oil. But if you want to hear the whole thing, you can watch my mill sales video where I kind of went on a rant about that. So my overall rating for this car at 90 days, understanding those 2 issues and the rest of my methodology, is a B. And that's just, you know, the good things about the car, just they haven't had the influence, if you will, for me to forget about the bad things. The 2 negative experiences that we had at this point really influenced my score, if you will, as an owner. Again, I'm not a professional. I'm not anybody in the consumer world, so me giving it a B doesn't mean much to anybody outside of me. But you know, for me recommending this car, this is what I would tell a buyer. So I did this video for those that may be, if you don't have a 2014 yet, but you're seeking to get one from, say, a year-end closeout deal. Hey, this is from me to you, just telling you my story. Obviously, my 2 issues with the car. Hopefully they represent worst case scenarios. Obviously, nobody buys a car at this price and expects it to go into the shop 20 days later. Hasn't happened since, so we went about 60 days, if you will, where we haven't had any issues as far as having to go to service related or having to go to the dealer for a service related issue, minus the adding the oil. That just really upset me, still upsets me, because adding oil to a car just because it's a V8, that's an American muscle car issue. You know, that's not, to me, a fine German luxurious vehicle issue where I have to worry about toting oil in the car. And obviously I can't buy dealer oil, so I have to, or I can't buy dealer oil locally, so I have to drive to the dealer and pay them $26 a quart or $26 a liter out here, just so I can have these. So I bought 6 liters of their BMW Long Life high grade oil. I forget the brand. I want to say it's not Mobil One, or whoever it is that BMW uses, but you know, we got the oil from them, and instead of me just driving up there, I just bought 6 extra quarts. So right off the bat, I spent $100 something, you know, just to be safe, if you will. So if that light comes back on, I don't have to drive all the way up there. But that's it for me. Again, hopefully you got my logic. One extra part I'd like to say is, when I looked at buying this car, actually I'll end off on a good note. For me, again, I say a B, but the car is the ultimate driving machine when it works. When you get to drive this car, it is fun to drive. I mean, the throttle, the response, in my opinion, is awesome. From 1500 to 2500, this car will get away from you. And it is a fun feeling knowing that you just have access to that sort of power at any point. It's fun to know that, you know. So I do think it's awesome to drive, but I think BMW has some more work to do as far as blending or finding that happy medium between performance and comfort. Like I said before, in the Asian market, I think they have hit the mark as far as being oriented towards comfort. As far as, you know, a daily driver, you sitting in the car, everybody in the car being comfortable, that sort of thing. But I think they lack on performance. But when I was looking at cars to buy for my wife, I looked at this car and I looked at the Mercedes-Benz E550 4MATIC. I did not like. I don't know. It just seemed like the car was, the Mercedes, it just seems like it was a big shell sitting on top of the car. It seemed to be bulky for no reason to me. And the engine just wasn't as good as this car. And then the military sales aspect, you know, unlike, you know, if you're residing in the States where you can go to the dealership and, you know, pick a car, or say, hey, let me see this feature, and they can walk you around and show you different cars. With the military sales program, you actually have to order the car, and you simply use the online features and or the books to build your car. So you don't actually get to see firsthand what this function does, or what that function does, or what this package actually is, and or what it does before you order it. You just kind of have to take a stab at it. From that aspect, I thought this car was the best in the price range. Obviously, some would say Mercedes is the best. Just depends on, you know, what you believe. And I would tell you that my wife probably is one of those people that believe that, you know, the German Mercedes-Benz is the standard for, or the gold mark for all cars, and everybody else is fighting for second place. If that's what you believe, that's fine. I would say from an appearance standpoint, exterior, I did like the Mercedes-Benz 550 4MATIC better. But from a performance standpoint, and the interior on that car, it looks nicer, but it also looks older in the sense of old-fashioned to me. So I didn't prefer that. This car, even though I think they could make it a lot better as far as the interior goes, it looks more modern, and I'm much more of a modern oriented, you know, person as far as cars go. And actually, I just reminded myself on something that I really wanted to tell you guys. If, you know, for those that are thinking about buying this car, or buying a 550 or a 5 Series, get the executive package. Without a doubt, please get the executive package. If I could take this car back to BMW right now and pay them $5,000 to put the executive package in this car, I would do it. Having the ability to open the doors without the key and the freaking trunk opener, I would pay $5,000 for that right now. When based off what I just said, I didn't really know what the executive package was. I couldn't see it. The stuff, I was using the online website and the book that you get from the military sales guy. And what I saw in there was as really the larger components of the military sale, or the executive package, I'm sorry, was the HUD and the navigation, both of which I did not think would work out here in South Korea, so I didn't see a point in paying, you know, $4,300 for something that I wouldn't be able to use. But I'll tell you right now, I would pay that $4,300 even if the HUD did not work and the navigation system did not work. I would pay that $4,300 to get the keyless entry and the automatic trunk thing. I think the automatic trunk function should be, you know, it shouldn't even be tied to a package at this point. I remember that, you know, in 2005. I think that should actually be standard. But if you don't want to make it a standard, then you shouldn't have to get it with a package. It should have just been available as an option, just like the soft closed doors, you know, that we had on here. I should just be able to click, hey, get the trunk thing. Because when you're going to open a trunk, you know, you just can't imagine how many times, you know, you have a lot of stuff in your hand and now you got to go fish for your keys just to open a door. And then you got to open the door with your keys in your hand and something else in your other hand. So it would just be easier just to open the door and or open the trunk and, you know, put whatever you need to put in there and call it a day. So I would say the most important package is the package that we don't have. Even though I really like the safety packages, I think the executive package, to me, just go ahead and front that money. If you can only get one package, get the executive package. It is worth it for those two features, in my opinion. And then the second thing is get the speakers. I think the stock, even though I didn't put them here in my top 5 fail, because I think it's probably, I think it's highly subjective. I think the stock speakers on this BMW 550i xDrive suck. They absolutely suck, in my opinion. You know, and I've had the loaner when this car was getting fixed that had the upgraded speakers. I think it's the B&O, the Bang & Olufsen speakers, and those speakers, you know, they sound much better, but you can tell that they're really only for classical music. So if you want to hear them, you can watch my meal sales video on that. But I would say you spend the extra money if you know, again, if you had to and you care about riding with music. Get the Harman, the H&K, I think is what it's called. Get the H&K speakers. So right there you're looking at about $7 or $8 grand. But for me, again, I bought the car. Overall, happy with the car, even with the B. A B is still passing in a school, if you will. I'm happy with the car. And again, what the true benefit, if you will, was the military sales program. You don't have to be in the military, obviously. You know, you can be a sofa person to buy the car. And with that, you know, I got a BMW with the packages and the features that I stated, you know, for probably, you know, definitely $9,000 off of what the BMW website said the car should have been. That was easily money that we saved, and I didn't pay taxes on the car. So off the bat, I saved about $16,000. If I have to go and pay taxes when I do go back to the States with this car, okay, that's fine. I still saved $9,000 off MSRP. And in my opinion, you can't beat that. So that's why I would recommend this BMW, or recommend BMW to someone that has access to the meal sales program. And again, if you want to see more, you can watch my video on the meal sales experience. But overall, happy with the car. My wife loves the car. She loves the way the face looks on the car. She loves the drive. Because she's been riding Hondas and or Lexuses, and they're pretty much non-responsive on the gas pedal, you know, but she loves this, you know, being able to hit the gas and just watch the car or feel the car take off. So she loves the power. So for me, that's the most important part. It's not my car, it's my wife's car. She's happy, and like they say on TV, happy wife, happy life.